What if I told you that almost everything you believe about life is an illusion created by your own mind? And what if everything you call reality is just a distorted reflection of your own mind? Life is an illusion, and only those who are truly alive can see it. We're stuck in a mental theater where psychological time writes the script, and the ego plays the leading role. But what if you could step out of this maze? What if you could see life without the filters of fear, comparison, and memory? In this video, we're not going to hand you ready-made answers. We're going to spark the kind of questions that change everything. Because maybe the only thing standing between you and inner freedom is you. Life is an illusion, and it's time to wake up. Are you truly living, or just running on autopilot? It might sound like a simple question, but the answer could completely shift the way you see life, and most importantly, how you see yourself. Most of us wake up every day already deep in thought. Worries, plans, memories, regrets. Everything moves so fast that we forget the most important thing, a present mind. Today, the approach is different. We're not going to talk about spirituality as something distant, mystical, or complicated. We're talking about practical spirituality, the kind that starts with the simple act of noticing what's happening. Right here, right now. Let's question together everything that seems normal, but might actually be keeping you stuck. What we call life might just be an unconscious loop of memories, fears, and conditioning. As Jiddu Krishnamurti, whose wisdom inspires this video, once said, "It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society." And that's exactly why we're going to explore 5 invisible pillars that keep us in a state of spiritual sleep. Psychological time, spiritual ego, limiting education, mental conditioning, and the lack of non-judgmental observation. This video is a mirror, and maybe, when you look into it with honesty, you'll see that what you've always called me was never really you. Yes, life is an illusion, but when that illusion starts to unravel, something within you awakens. And that spiritual awakening doesn't happen tomorrow. It can only happen now. Take a deep breath right now. Where is your mind in this exact moment? Maybe it's reliving something that happened yesterday, or anticipating a meeting, a hard conversation, a dream that still hasn't come true. Do you see? Even while sitting still, your body is here, but your mind is trapped in psychological time. Krishnamurti said, "Thought is time, and time is suffering." What did he mean by that? It's simple. When we dwell on the past or obsess over the future, we build an invisible prison. Guilt lives in the past. Anxiety lives in the future. And meanwhile, real life slips by unnoticed. We spend our days waiting for a life that never seems to arrive. When I finish this course, then I'll finally. When I have the money. When I'm healed. But what about now? What about this moment? Is it just a bridge to something else? Imagine you're having a quiet cup of coffee, and suddenly, your mind starts narrating. You should be working. This coffee isn't even that good. What about that conversation from yesterday? That inner narrator, like a frantic radio host, never stops. It's the spiritual ego, pretending to be evolved, but still chasing control, recognition, and safety. And all of it tied to time. But the truth is, the now doesn't need to be improved. It just needs to be lived. Try something right now. Close your eyes for a few seconds and notice your breath. Don't change anything. Just observe. Feel the air coming in and going out. That is life, not what you think about it. This simple practice is a form of conscious meditation. And no, you don't need to sit in the lotus position to do it. You just need to be here. Because psychological time is the stage where suffering performs. But presence dissolves the entire stage. And all the mechanical learning starts to lose meaning. Have you ever stopped to think, what exactly did school teach you to be? Since childhood, we were trained to obey, to memorize, to repeat. Few of us were encouraged to think for ourselves, to question, to listen to our own intuition. Most of us were taught to follow a model. Sit up straight, give the right answer, don't ask too many questions. Krishnamurti was clear when he said, "The education we receive breeds conformity, and where there is conformity, there is no freedom." And that's a scary thought when you really let yourself feel it. We were shaped to fit in, into grades, into professions, into behaviors. We learn how to compete, but not how to collaborate, how to judge, but not how to observe, how to seem intelligent, but not how to be conscious. Then we grow up and ask ourselves why we feel this emptiness, even with a diploma on the wall. Maybe because the diploma validated a limiting education, but not deep self-knowledge. After all, the education system that taught you how to solve equations with the quadratic formula, did it teach you how to deal with your emotions? Did it teach you how to quiet your mind? Did it teach you that maybe life is an illusion built from inherited beliefs? And we're not talking about some rebellious teenage rant against school. That's not what this is. We're talking about something more subtle and more dangerous, invisible mental conditioning. How many times did you want to do something, but didn't? Because deep down you heard that voice saying, "That's not for you. You're not good enough. You can't make a living from art, from spirituality, from silence." But where did that voice come from? Were you born with it? Or was it planted there by a system that needed you to be just another cog in the machine? That's the thing. We're not really living. We're adapting. And as philosopher Henry David Thoreau said, most men lead lives of quiet desperation. But you can change that. You can question. You can explore. You can see with your own eyes. And it all begins with a simple question. Is everything I was taught really true? Or do I need to observe more? Try this now. Look around. Anything. A plant, a mug, the sky outside the window. Did you look? Now tell me, did you truly see it? Or just interpret what you saw? Most of the time, we don't actually look at a flower. We immediately think, it's a rose. We don't listen to the sound of the wind. We think, oh, it's just the wind. But is that really seeing? Krishnamurti called this observing without the observer. In other words, seeing without the filter of memory, judgment, or ego. And here's an invitation. Close your eyes for 15 seconds. Just notice what arises. Don't try to change anything. Just feel. Silent pause. Did you notice how your mind tries to name things, explain them, make sense of them? That inner radio host is always narrating, even when you didn't ask. It tells you what's right, what's wrong, what's beautiful, what's ugly. That's the spiritual ego, dressed up as wisdom, but really just trying to stay in control. True inner freedom begins when we can simply observe, without trying to fix, understand, or interpret. And that's where conscious meditation comes in. But not the kind that's complicated or full of rules. Meditation, in this sense, is simply being. Being with what is. Without resistance. Without hurry. Without desire. Krishnamurti used to say, true observation is seeing without the me. And that changes everything. Because when you see life without the lens of ego, separation disappears. You're no longer someone looking at life. You are the experience itself, unfolding. There's no more distance between the observer and the observed. There is only presence. And in that state, something magical happens. You're no longer seeking awakening. You are awake. And the state of freedom begins to emerge. How many times have you thought, when I fix this, then I'll finally feel free. When I quit this job, when I end this relationship, when I move away. But what if freedom isn't something you earn, but something you discover? We go through life chasing freedom like someone running after a mirage, always up ahead, always after something else. But no one ever told you that the search itself is the prison. Krishnamurti said it with disarming clarity. Freedom is not at the end. It is at the beginning. Otherwise, it is not freedom. Let that sink in. You don't need to become someone in order to be free. You need to stop trying to be someone, because when you say, I need this to feel at peace, you're unknowingly saying that you can't be at peace now. And so we enter a vicious cycle. The more we search outward, the further we drift from who we already are. It's the great illusion of psychological time, disguised as the desire for growth. Freedom isn't doing whatever you want. It's needing nothing in order to feel whole. Want a simple example? Have you ever seen a very young child running through a park? They're not trying to be happy. They are. They're not planning to free themselves from the past. They don't even know what that means. And why is that? Because they're not yet under the control of the me, the ego, the fear of making mistakes, the fear of not being enough, the fear of not being loved. You don't need to become a better person to experience inner freedom. You just need to stop resisting what already is. And it's at this point that spiritual awakening stops being an idea and becomes a lived experience. And it also requires silence. Have you noticed that sometimes your mind feels like a crazy radio station, narrating your every move? What will they think of me? Was I good enough? Look what that person did to me. I deserved better. That frantic narrator, full of opinions, dramatic tone, and a flair for soap opera, is the ego, or rather, the spiritual ego, when it starts using fancy language to keep everything under control. But here's the problem. This character is the one that fragments your reality. It splits everything, you and others, right and wrong, success and failure. And deep down, it's always afraid. Afraid to disappear. Afraid of not being important. Afraid of not being. Krishnamurti said, where there is a center, there is conflict. And that center is the ego, the I that wants to possess, defend, compare, control. Have you ever felt jealousy, road rage, social media envy? That's the ego playing its game. But it plays dirty, because it convinces you that it is you. Now, try a little exercise. Take one of those intense emotions you sometimes feel. Instead of suppressing it or justifying it, just observe it. No judgment. No attempt to change. Just see it. Who is feeling this? Who is saying, this is mine? Maybe, in that silent moment, you'll realize, you are not the fear. You are not the desire. You are not the story your mind tells. You are the space where all of this is happening. And when the ego loses its grip, what's left is not emptiness. What's left is life. Full, undivided, effortless. It's like taking off a pair of dark sunglasses you didn't even know you were wearing. And suddenly, everything shines, even knowing that life is an illusion. This inner glow brings you clarity, and clarity begins to act when you stop running from yourself. Throughout this video, maybe you felt small jolts of awareness, like wiping steam off a mirror and, little by little, beginning to see what's always been there. Not what others told you that you are, but what you are before any thought arises. Spiritual awakening isn't about knowing more. It's about unlearning everything that kept you asleep with your eyes open. You don't need to travel far, attend expensive retreats, or seek out enlightened masters. You just need to give yourself the gift of being present, to wake up, here, now. And for that, let me offer you something simple. In the next few days, choose a random moment, maybe while washing dishes, walking down the street, or listening to music, and just observe. Don't compare. Don't label. Don't expect. Just feel. See what happens. Maybe, in that small instant, you'll feel something new. Or rather, something ancient. Something forgotten. That state of inner freedom that's always been there, just beneath the noise of the world. If this message stirred something within you, share this video with someone else who might also be ready to awaken, because sometimes, all a soul needs is a breath of truth. If these words spoke to you, I invite you to take the next step in this journey of self-discovery. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so we can continue walking this path of spiritual growth together. Drop a comment and share your experiences with conscious breathing, and how it has been a teacher on your own awakening journey. Let's grow together, not just in mind, but in heart. And if you'd like to go even deeper into this process, watch our video. Want to control your reality? Watch this now. It will help you better understand how reality is shaped from within. Peace and light.